Yo, what's up, guys? So let's go ahead and go over the indices, what I took today. That was pretty freaking clean. So yeah, let's get into it. So looking on the daily chart, really easy narrative. This is where daily bias is really easy. It's we have some type of higher time frame universal model, or like some higher time frame reason to go higher or lower, maybe off of like phases of price logic or something, right? But here, really easy. We have a daily gap here and a cracking correlation. If I go to yesterday's closure here, you can see this bearish on NQ and ES, but with YM, it's bullish. So that is a cracking, that is a PSP pretty much. But when you look inside of this candle, we like to look inside of reversal candles to actually see what price looks like within there, to basically look for a reversal signature. We want to see that V-shaped signature that is pretty much making up this wick that is reversing, creating the reversal candle, right? So when I look inside of here, very beautiful, clear as day, reversal signature, expansion, back into the range. That is what you're looking for to confirm a reversal, right? So if you bar replay to the daily open, you can see that this is the only, if we're gonna basically use this wick as a refined key level, when I look in the upper half of this wick, this is what we have. It's this hourly gap. That's it. That's the only area for price to create the low day. Right? So, I mean, that's where I'm going to look for longs, right? So the day, what do we want to see it do? We want to see it open low first, ideally. So that's what it does. That's perfect. It opens low first. Also, we leave these highs available. So clear consolidation phase. So this should be manipulation, right? Into the gap. We're manipulating the low as well. This is just a low and a lower time frame, right? So the expansion, consolidation, the open low is the manipulation, and then we want to expand to this high. And this high is important because ES had already taken it out, and YM had already taken it out as well. And you're going to see a strength switch confirming that lagging assets. Right, pretty simple stuff, man. So when we look here, the low of this, basically within that hourly gap, we have no SMT with this hourly gap itself, but within this hourly gap, within this hourly gap is where you're going to see a 30-minute SMT fill right here. So this 1530 gap does not get taken. Over here it does. Right, you can clearly see the consolidation. Right, manipulating that 1530 low, and then you just want to see reversal signature, pretty much, right? So we get that gap there, and we trade it all the way into that high that NQ and ES already took out. So it's really simple. I'm not gonna I didn't post this one, but yeah, I didn't post this one here. As you can see, I took it on these accounts here. I didn't hold it because of consistency rules. Like I just took it off here. I don't copy like all my accounts, right? They're all like different account balances. They're all different. Some have different rules and whatnot. So that's just how I personally do things. But in New York session, this is what I took. So coming to New York, look what we have here is these assets here had not taken out this previous high, right? So look at the daily profile at this point. What have we done? We have expanded away from the daily open quite a lot, right? So what does that do? That automatically typically filters out the probability for a bearish expansion day because this wick is too large. So when you come back to the current low of day, right, what could we do there, right? We could reverse, essentially, just creating a new wick. And also, there's like two things here that's really nice about this, structure-wise. So if you look at the, within this range here, this is like if you're not going to reverse from any gap within this range, right here, like this low, this is a relevant low, right? So it's the only area for price to continue from. And the fact that it's the current low of day is good, right? So you can see that YM, technically, this current low of day is created in Asia, right? And it took it out a long time ago, right? Because these assets here actually expanded away from that low. See, they expanded away from that low, but YM did not. It just consolidated. right? Should have consolidated. So YM makes a really deep run, which is not ideal, right? This is not ideal for price to really come all the way this deep in the range. But ES, when ES breaks that low, so the fact that YM did not reverse from this SMT here means that the middle asset should probably break the SMT, right? Is likely going to do so. But you wouldn't trade to this low. Even if there's a strength switch, I wouldn't do it because you have these equal highs, right? You don't really want to trade it from that. So I'm still looking bullish when I come to into the market, pretty much at like 9 o'clock, right? So you see this 9:30, it just expands lower. I would not, even if there's like an SMT fill here or something, like I wouldn't trade that because there's no framework to short it, right? So we're really just thinking that this is a retracement. This move lower is a retracement because the daily candle, right? That's one thing, right? But we also leave these equal highs, and obviously we don't reverse from equal highs. So I'm thinking that this is the only area for price to reverse from. It's right here, right? So we just broke the SMT, and look at NQ. It's holding that SMT, right? That is this sequence right here, right? This would be YM failing to manipulate that low. Here is ES. It just broke that low, member, and then the third assets is holding that SMT. It doesn't matter if it's like close proximity. This doesn't matter. This is what we're looking for, essentially, right? This is the SMT break reversal triad sequence, and this right here is a very high probable sequence as well, specifically for gaps. But we can also use relevant lows. It's the same thing. Think of it like this. If I just draw this whole thing here, instead of a gap, I use a relevant low. It'd be the same thing, right? Price creates equal highs. So we know this move lower right here, this move lower is probably a retracement. And if we're not going to find, continuation from a gap within this little range here, then you would manipulate the range low to continue higher, right? Manipulate this low to continue higher to the equal highs, right? That would be like your last resort to reverse from. So it's the same thing here, bro. Same thing here. This low is the last resort, essentially. And so we're looking for a two-stage SMT there, right? You have your first stage SMT when ES breaks that, right? Well, you really have the two-stage SMT for a long time, right? But there's no confirmation to it. And here you get it with this closure. So look at this close here. You see how it's bearish, but we didn't sweep at the low. So it should be bullish, right? Because this is showing strength, the fact that it did not reach the low, but now it's closing bearish. This asset that was previously the weakest closes bullish, right? There's your strength, just PSV. So you're pretty much good to go. So over here, even though we do not have a 4-hour reversal candle, doesn't matter, right? Because within this wick, we have a lower time reversal. It just so happens that the reversal happens at the last hour of the 4-hour candle. So there's not enough time to go in, trade up all the way up, all the way up here and close back inside this candle's range. Doesn't matter, right? So we have our reversal, essentially. Look at YM over here. It has this little SMT here as well. And we started to expand heavily on YM. This led me to believe that we were good to go, essentially. All I need to see is the NQ start to go higher. And as soon as it did, that's when I slapped it, right? But you're going to see YM just some weird-ass shit. Don't really know what it's doing, but it didn't really affect NQ at all, really. So this is how I traded this here. Really amazing trade. One of the best trades I've taken on indices in a little while, to be honest. And yeah, for about 6.6R. It's a great trade. And it's just mechanically the same thing over and over and over. This would have been a really good opportunity to potentially get continuations, but we never got it. I was actually thinking when I was watching this that we were going to get it. I thought this is going to be a bearish candle here. So look at YM right here. This is kind of cooked, right? So YM, I don't know what it's doing. It doesn't take this low out at all. It kind of just like reverses from like highs up here, right? But when I enter my trade, it's not doing that, right? So look when I enter my trade. So you wouldn't know that YM is going to do all this shit, right? I thought YM was going to continue from this order block, right? I wouldn't really expect it to go like all the way down here. Would not want to see that, but it does it, and it is what it is, right? But NQ never really shows any sign of bearishness, really, like at all, right?